Hey guys! So first of all, this is without a doubt the single most exciting video I'll ever make. It'll take a lot to top what I'm about to say in this video because it's something I've waited a very long time for, which I will explain more soon. And also, this is much more, the things I have to say in this video is so much better than what I was imagining I'd end up saying. So that is fantastic. Now, as you can tell by the title, it's about Caroline and Costaki and their performance at the Gilded Balloon. But it's not so much a review, more so me talking about my own experience, which I know sounds a bit narcissist, but it's not, I promise. If you have stumbled upon this accidentally, or you were looking for a review, I will be doing a written review in my blog. My blog is linked below in the below bar view. I'm trying to think when I'm going to upload this. I think this will be uploaded before the review is written, but if you check out the blog just now and subscribe, the written review will be up in a couple of days' time, but for just now I'm just focusing on the video. So when I first heard that Caroline was coming to the UK, first of all, I was completely gobsmacked. Well, no, I don't want to say gobsmacked because that sounds kind of weird. I was surprised, to say the least, because I just didn't expect it, you know? I remember about a year ago I was sort of inquiring about how much it would cost to go and see her, and I actually inquired just out of curiosity how much it would cost to hire her for a private function over in the UK, and I cannot remember who I asked, but whoever I asked said that it would cost £33,000 to hire Caroline for a private function for one night in the UK. I was like, for that price I could go to the States 33 times and see her, so that wasn't exactly the best of things. So when I found out that she was coming over here, I was like, oh my god, I have to go. In fact, it wasn't even so much of a I have to go as more of I am going. There was no question about it. And I actually found out kind of by accident. I was being really nosy. I think I went onto Costaki's Facebook page and I left him a message or whatever I was doing. And I scrolled down randomly and I noticed somebody had left him a comment saying, are you doing, I think it was the Just for Laughs gig this year. And he'd replied on the actual page, which thankfully was a benefit, because if he'd replied in a private message or on the other person's page, I may not ever have known about this. And he was like, no, I'm doing Edinburgh, Scotland. And as soon as I read those words, my heart just went in my head and I nearly died at that point, because I didn't want to believe straight away that it was, you know, this Edinburgh, Scotland. I thought it could have been like, I don't know, Edinburgh, Scotland somewhere else. I don't think there is an Edinburgh in Scotland somewhere else. But I just couldn't believe it, so I messaged him and I was like, is it right? Is it this Scotland? Is it the Scotland that I'm in? The Edinburgh that's close to me? And he was like, yes. So I sort of went frantic for about a month until the tickets were released. And then finally the tickets were released, which you can get on the Gilded Balloon website, www.gildedballoon.co.uk, believe it or not. And you'll also be able to buy them on the Edinburgh Fringe website, which is of course the big festival going on just now in Edinburgh. I can't remember the web address for that. I think it's edfringe.co.uk, but I will find out and put the links, all the links you need in the below bar view. And then finally in June, the tickets came on sale. The very day they came on sale, I was in college, but I was like, sod it, I don't care. I went onto the computer in the morning just before the class started, so it's fine. And I was like, oh my god, the website doesn't work. Or the website worked and I could see that it was ready to book them, but I couldn't book them, it just wouldn't let me. But luckily it wasn't me, it was the website. And then I booked them and I had to wait nearly 3 weeks for the tickets to arrive. I was like, oh no, they've got lost in the post or something, what am I going to do? But they hadn't, there was just a delay in getting them sent out and things. And then it arrived, and this is the ticket here, just double checking, it has none of my sort of private information on it. No, it doesn't, there you go. So that's the ticket here. It's actually different. It looks different to the one you get if you get it at Gilded Balloon. It's much prettier if you get it in the theatre itself. But this is it, and this was technically the ticket that was going to make my life perfect. The only bad thing is I had 2 months to wait until the actual show itself, and it was a very long 2 months, a very long wait. And I kept counting down. I must have annoyed every person in the world. Like, I was like, ooh, 2 months, 2 months. Then when I got to 1 month, I was like, 1 month, 1 month. And I was literally counting down every day, you know. I was like, ooh, 27 days, 26 days, 25 days. People at Gilded Balloon must have been really annoyed because I just kept tweeting them saying, you know, 26 days till Caroline and Costaki, and I just kept getting so excited. So when it came to being like 2 days time and 1 day's time, my head was exploding. I was worried, I was nervous, I was scared, but I was excited, I was ecstatic, and I still couldn't believe it was happening. But I went down, and actually I was going to be going by myself, and I was going to be staying in a hostel, but something happened with that, so my friend who lives near Edinburgh said she'd come with me. The only thing that meant about staying in a not staying in the hostel in Edinburgh meant that I had to get a train back at like 11:05 or something. So that meant I didn't really have that much time after the show, but I will talk about that in a couple of minutes. So basically, when it came to the day, we spent about 6 hours just wandering around Edinburgh and sort of making sure we knew where we were going. Which, I'll be fair, it's kind of hard. We got lost a couple of times, but it's definitely worth it. And then there was posters all around, and I've got to say, we walked down loads and loads of streets in Edinburgh. I only ever saw one Caroline poster. I actually printed off the poster. I will put a link in the below bar to the poster if you want to see it. It's on the Gilded Balloons Facebook. Actually, it's on my Facebook as well, so if you go to my Facebook link in the below bar and add me as a friend, I will accept you, and you can see that there. Then it was about an hour before the show started, we decided to sit outside Gilded Balloon, because there are walls there. Oh, and I've got to say, Gilded Balloon isn't in its original building for the festival. It's in the TVO, which is on Bistro Row, which to be fair meant nothing to me, so I had to Google map it. But if you just go to the big E4 upside down cow, there's like a big inflatable cow that's upside down. If you just look for that, it's basically opposite there. And when you find it, there's like lights and everything, and it's so, so lovely. It's definitely the prettiest building there, which is definitely a good thing. And anyway, so we were sitting on the wall outside, and then we noticed somebody writing something. Like, I was sitting under a sign of some sort, but I didn't know what the sign said because I didn't look. And I noticed somebody was rubbing something off of it and writing something on it in chalk. And we moved away because we were kind of in the way. And then 10 minutes later, we realised that what she'd written on the sign was queue here for Caroline Rhea. So basically, we were in the queue. Then she wrote that we were in the queue. And then we moved. So that was kind of typical. But I was really desperate for front row seats because I didn't think I'd get to meet Caroline. I had all these worries that there wasn't going to be enough time. We were told before we went in that the show often overran. So I was like, oh dear, this isn't going to happen. But we got front row, which was perfect. My friend and I, sort of, if the microphone was here, we were sitting sort of here. Like if that's a stage, that's a microphone, we were here. So we were kind of almost directly in front of her. And then the show started basically. It's on from 9:30 till 10:30. So it is kind of late, and as you can see, that would have given us 35 minutes to get to the station, even if it didn't overrun, which was kind of pushing it, but it was fine. And then we were sitting there in the actual theatre itself. I think it's in the debating hall, I think. And my friend actually asked me, she was like, what, is there going to be tables and everything? Are we actually going to have a debate? Is she going to have one of those little hammers? I was like, no, it's a comedy show. Because she wasn't really a fan of stand-up comedy until she saw these two lovely people. And we were sitting in the front row, and over in the left hand, people were on the right hand side, and over in the left wing, wait, right wing, but on the left hand side, in the wings on the left, I could see somebody standing there, and I just sort of turned, and for a second, this person stayed there, and then they went off again, and it was Costaki, and I was like, oh my god, I couldn't believe it, even though he was going to be on the stage right in front of me in like a minute. He'd obviously came out to check how many people were there. You know, as you do when you're going on stage, you tend to have a little peek round to see what it's like. He was standing there, so I saw him before he actually came on, and that was quite amazing. But then he came on, and that really, you know, my heart was racing. I couldn't believe it, because I don't just adore Caroline, I adore Costaki too. And it really annoyed me when people were like, you know, if you did a tweet search for Caroline, or people left Facebook messages and things, they were like, ooh, I'm going to see Caroline. It's like, no, you're not. You're going to see Caroline and Costaki. It really annoyed me when people sort of forgot about them, because even if Caroline wasn't there, which thank goodness she was, but even if it wasn't Caroline going, if it was just Costaki, I still would have went, because, well, I would have done. I wouldn't have let myself not go. But anyway, Costaki comes out, and he does 12 minutes. That's very precise, I know, but it's actually, he said, I'm here with you for 12 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And I feel really sorry for him because the audience was quite, they didn't get a lot of the things he said. I'll be honest with you, I don't know how many of the people in the audience actually knew who he was. I know he's not quite a popular name in Britain, although there were some Americans in the audience from LA and somewhere else, I don't know. They weren't really my priority at that time. You know, I had Costaki standing right in front of me. I couldn't care less about anybody else in the room. No offence to them. And what I'm trying to think of how much of his jokes I'd heard. I don't want to really tell you what the jokes were, because I don't want to give it away. I think I heard maybe, I don't know, 25% of it. About a quarter of the jokes I'd heard. And he mentioned, okay, I'll tell you this one bit, because it's very brief, and he might not even do it if you go. But he did mention the Economopoulos thing. He didn't really do it as a separate joke. It was sort of weaved into another about his surname. And if you don't know what the Economopoulos thing is, it's on his Economonologues. And somebody once called him, because they couldn't say Economopoulos, because let's face it, not everyone can say Economopoulos. I challenge you to say it. Somebody once called him Economopoulos, and I just think it's fantastic. I love it. But anyway, I realise I've talked for 11 minutes and I've not even mentioned Caroline's yet. But he's on for 12 minutes, absolutely fantastic. The audience weren't that, they didn't think, I don't think it was that they didn't think he was that funny, it's just I don't think this particular audience got what he was saying. There was one thing about a beard which the entire audience thought was hilarious, and I mean it was fantastic. But I think I just don't think the audience was right. I feel sorry because I'm not a loud laugher as such. You know, like if I laugh, it's more of a sort of, you know, a Cheshire Cat grin. I don't technically laugh out loud all the time, unless it's something exceptionally hilarious, as with the beard thing. So that was a bit of a shame, but he's fantastic, he's really, really funny and really, really lovely. And then after his 12 minutes, Caroline comes on, and because of where I was sitting, I could actually see her sort of come out ever so slightly before the people at the other far side. And when I saw her, I died. In fact, I'm dying right now, my heart's just dropping completely. I've waited 11 years to see this woman. And for those of you who are subscribed to my channel, you will know that I care about nothing as much as I care about Sabrina and Beth and Caroline. I will go into more detail on that in another video at some point. I keep saying I will do that video, but I will do it soon, I promise. But my heart just dropped. It was like Christmases and birthdays and holidays and everything just brought into one, and Caroline was there, and I was like nearly hyperventilating. I couldn't believe it. It didn't sink in until what I'm about to tell you in a minute, but it didn't sink in that she was real and that she was in front of me and that she was talking and that, you know, she was actually there. Because, you know, I watch clips on YouTube all the time of her different shows and things, and it's like, she can't really be there, you know, I'm just dreaming, it's not real. And then, about 15 minutes into what she was saying, she was talking to a woman to the right of me. I've got no idea what they were talking about, because after what happened next, I just wiped everything else out. So she was talking to the woman next to me, and then she just turns around and looks at me, and she was like, "You're Amy." And I was like, uh-huh. She just basically turned around and started talking to me, and it was amazing, and I was completely gobsmacked and shocked and just totally like, oh my god, what on earth? She did know I was coming, she knew I was going that day. She wouldn't not know because I've done nothing but pester Costaki for the past 2 months. My apologies to him. But it was just the fact that she just sort of turned and looked at me and was like, oh wow. And then she noticed the t-shirt I had on, which I think she may have seen before, I'm not sure. I don't know if you can see that, but basically it's just Caroline, and it's got the Caroline Rhea show underneath, which was her own show. And obviously Caroline. And then she starts telling the audience that I'm a massive Sabrina fan, which is an understatement, I'll be fair. And then the next thing I know, she's got me on the stage. And I'm like, what's going on? Am I actually standing on a stage with Caroline Rhea? There is actually a picture. Somebody actually managed to take a picture of it and then find me on YouTube miraculously and email me it. So thank you to them. And I just couldn't believe it. Most amazing experience of my life. standing on a stage with one of the two greatest women of all time, the other being Beth, and it still hasn't sunk in, you know. It's just amazing. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna get past this because it's fantastic. Best moment of my life. It's just absolutely beautiful. Completely could not have been better. Anyway, and then I went down the stairs again and enjoyed the rest of the show. Completely gobsmacked. She kept saying my name. She kept calling me. Sometimes it was Little Amy and sometimes it was Sweet Little Amy. So sweet. It was so precious and it was kind of weird as well. Absolutely lovely. And then the comedy as well, because I really should be focusing on how funny she was rather than the fact that she nearly killed me by making me completely shocked. Very, very funny. Very crude, not for the faint-hearted, talks about her breasts a lot, but absolutely perfect. I've never laughed so much in my life. That's also the longest I've seen her for, because she's on stage for 50 minutes, whereas, well, on YouTube it's never longer than 10 minutes. Her HBO One Night Stand DVD is a half hour, I think. So 50 minutes is the longest set I've ever seen her do. And of course the only ever one I've seen her do actually in person. And it's just fantastic. As far as recycled material goes, I knew one, two, maybe about 4 things she said I knew. She said a few different things, but slightly kind of different. I don't want to really tell you what they are because they are so special and so amazing. And also it might vary night to night. I'm assuming she'll have some sort of standard routine and then obviously what happens in the audience, because there is a lot of audience participation. So if you don't want to be picked on, sit at the very back. I think she kind of picked on people within the first 3 rows. And then after that you kind of get blinded by the lights so you can't really see anybody. But I suppose that still wouldn't stop her from picking on you. But if you don't want to get picked on, sit at the back. But I recommend sitting at the front because it's the most amazing feeling ever, having Caroline standing this far away from you. It's like, I was going to throw up. I really was. It was fantastic. And then it finished on time. She kept asking us the time. Okay, she asked twice, but never mind. And she finished basically just on time. And then at the end, I was waiting for it outside the debating hall, as she knew I would be. And I was just like, I couldn't believe it. She was standing right in front of me, and my heart was just going, and I was going to throw up. And it's like, you wait 11 years for something, and generally nothing lives up to its expectations. But this lived up to its expectations and more. This is everything I've ever dreamed of and more, and I could not be more grateful for the way this went. Anyway, yeah, she also gave me 2 little things, which is really, really sweet. The first one is this here. It's just a little keyring. It says Little Miss Splendid. Obviously Mr. Men and Little Miss. And this is so precious. It's kind of random, I'll be fair, unless it's got some sort of meaning that I don't remember. I hope it doesn't, because I'll feel really bad then. But it is the sweetest thing I've ever been given. It's just so adorable. And it's now my little good luck charm, so everywhere I go, anytime I've got something important, this is going with me because it's just so precious. And the second is this, which I was considering buying until I realised the price of overseas postage on this item. So I'll just show you the back of it first actually. So it's from Caroline's website, which I must say hasn't been updated in a number of years. But go and check it out anyway, there's loads of great stuff on there. And then the front of this, which is massive, it says, "What is it you can't face?" Which, because I have younger subscribers, I can't really describe this joke to you. That is another thing for Caroline and Costaki. You've got to be 16 or over, and if you're under 18, you've got to be accompanied by an adult. But it says, "What is it you can't face?" which is a Sound of Music joke. I wouldn't recommend you YouTubing this if you are sort of younger, but it is on YouTube. She didn't actually do this joke, which is a surprise, because I think every one I've watched, she's ended this way, but she ended it with something else which was just as good. But this is absolutely lovely. I'm never ever going to wear it, just because I wouldn't want to ruin it. But it's coming to university with me. I'm going down to university next month. And it's coming with me because it's sort of like a little, just a comfort thing, because you guys know who subscribed to me for a lot longer that Caroline and Beth are very much like rocks to me. It's like moral support and love and just everything ever, without They're like aunties to me, but they don't know it. Or they kind of do know it, but they don't, if you know what I mean. It's a really complicated situation. But this is the most precious thing ever, and I'm never ever letting it go. Like I said, it's come to uni with me. So this will be for big journeys like uni and going overseas and things, and this is for littler journeys. Yeah, but I realise I've talked about 20 minutes, and I probably haven't been that informative, I'll be honest with you, because my head's just I'm still in disbelief that it actually happened. It happened 2 days ago, and I'm just completely like, oh wow, I just can't believe it. Everything was perfect. There was a list of about 10 things that could have went wrong. You know, it could have overran, we could have missed the train, she might not have came out, or she might not have spoke to me, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if she didn't speak to me, and there's just so much that could have went wrong. We could have not got a front row seat, which I suppose wouldn't have been a bad thing, but it was kind of, it would have made it more perfect if I was. And everything that could have went wrong didn't. The weather was glorious, it was perfect. Great day, fantastic day in Edinburgh, and then brilliant evening watching the show. Definitely go and see it. Please go and see it for me, because you will love it. It's on until, I think it's the 25th of this month. I could be wrong. So do not trust me 100% on that. Go to the Gilded Balloons website or to Costaki's website. Don't forget Costaki. Please do not forget Costaki, because he's just as important as Caroline. And it does bug me when people don't know who he is. Actually, his website is Costaki.com. So go and check that out anyway. And the dates are on his website, or if you're wanting to book straight away, they're on the Gilded Balloons website, and also they're on Twitter and Facebook and things, so go and talk to them about it. But it's definitely worth seeing. This was actually the first stand-up comedy show I'd seen, but I kind of knew what to expect because I've watched about 1 million of them on TV and things. But it's just the most perfect day of my life. I had a fantastic week in London last year where everything happened, and I thought nothing could beat that. But now, one night has beat an entire week of perfection in London. It'd take a lot to top this night. Well, 2 nights ago, but the night in question. Absolutely fantastic. Could not have been more perfect. I've said that about 10 times, but my head is exploding with excitement and disbelief and shock and just completely astounded. So it's absolutely brilliant. I realise I've rambled on for 22 minutes. People were probably expecting a 5-minute short review video, but like I said, check my blog out. The sort of more factual and opinionated sort of interweaved review will be on my blog, which is mcleanamy.blogspot.com. I think it's in the links. But yeah, so feel free to leave comments and things and let me know your thoughts. That's all I will say just now. I could talk about this forever and ever, and my apologies to anybody who's on my Twitter or my Facebook, but I probably will be talking about this forever and ever. I will either put the pictures from the night at the end of the video or at the beginning, probably the beginning, so you would have already seen them by now. But yeah, that's all I'll say just now. I won't bore you for any longer. I think 25 minutes is enough. But I will see you next time. Definitely go and see it. Let me know if you've seen it and what you think of it and things. And you will love it, I promise you. 16 and over, but absolutely perfect. So yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.